If everyone, I am Lux Mugabe and I am the host of the Digital Disciple podcast and of course the very first presenter of my very own podcast known as Young People Radio. Back in 2019, I created this with, I don't know what the hope, just thinking that, what, let's just do a podcast for the sake of, you know, creativity. Just gonna be creative and doing things which can work out very well. So today's episode is going to be my intro about the podcast. Um Sorry that it's been a while. It's just that creative things have been happening for a while and I decided to say, what, let's just do it. If new here, I am Lokolo and I am a Christian and just being a creative around YouTube. And it's not like for the sake of what people think about it and what people might expect from you or hear from you. Today's episode is just an intro about the podcast. And yeah, basically it's just been on platforms and it's been there for a while. I don't want to say that it has been kept secret. But I decided that, what, let me just get up and just do something creative out of the ordinary. I'm supposed to be up around 2:35 and just just early. Just early. And you know what, this is just an early episode. Audio only. This is quite different. There was a lot of doubt here and there and just wanted to do pro equipment, but then I decided, what, let me just do something that is just out of anything, just something that could work out. So I've been a creative using social media like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I trust and hope that you may be inspired. This is just not limiting belief, but just making things possible. Um, I had to fight with myself yesterday, I think last night, because yeah, my sister was busy yapping with the chat with her friends on my phone, and I decided that, hey, let's just rather choose something much more better. Um, the thing that I would say that would be better for me was just to think about it in this order, right? So morning thoughts can, be conflicting because when you wake up in the morning, let me say, you got a decision to make, right? Either you fall back into sin or just become this unique person and say, you know what, I'm up, I'm going to be doing more things. And this is not just to listen to the flesh, it's just to do something out of the extraordinary. So, yeah, I slept and it's been a long day from Monday. It's just after surviving a 10-hour shift and just doing something which is out of the ordinary, just doing more. So, as a creative, I decided to say, you know what, let's not just keep it out there. You've created some stunning visual, and it's time that you may be seen, not just about keeping just the minimal views around videos, but it's time that it comes out literally. So, yeah, the Digital Disciple is a podcast empowering faith through media. And this is just more than just a conquered mission, just to fight against your own internal battles. This will be challenging though, because at first you might think that, hey, I'm doing it for the sake of fame and just going to be shown out there just for the sake of doing things and also wanting to narrow it down to what you have been consuming. This is more than that. I decided to have something more than expected. So I've got God with me and I've decided that, look, let's not fall into the flesh because flesh just wants more of that worldly nature. It just wants to do things for the sake of eating on sin or believing that sin is the only food that they can live on. But God is the bread alone, He's the word. And the reason why I'm saying this is just to inspire you. The first episode, I'm going to call this the intro of the podcast and my journey of faith. Now, this is an uncut version from my usual video that has been literally just showing up on my YouTube, and it's a faith-based video that I did like in my own faith, like I think it was around March last year or 2024, yeah. And geez, you shot in the day, footage got lost, you did it in the night, shot it and just said it's done. So that was me. So let me tell you about me. So I've been a Christian back in 2015, not just about going to church for the sake of what others may think, but just doing things for the sake of, it's just creativity, doing things for the sake of, you know, just, you're just trying things out here and there. I remember 2015, I was just, you know, checking things out here and there. And then I encountered this loving church, which is Good News Community Church. Man, that church is full of love, man. Yo, shout out to Mom Fundisi, man, the mother pastor. I wouldn't say like she's the bishop, but man, she is a loving woman. She is a supporting person. And I feel like I have myself because it's just a loving family. It's been a loving family. I decided to just take some time this morning to not just let things slide and say no until the equipment comes. I'm doing it raw, and this is just something different. So I encountered faith around 2016, right? 2015 was the start because it was a simple prayer, right? Then I was doing children's ministry as a kid, and just evolved as this young adult that has just, grasped a lot of things. Yes, I didn't like home style. I didn't really like home style. Because home style could reveal like a lot of things. A lot of things. It was not like expected that you would be this perfect being, but you had to let things happen. So it was just meant to happen. So Homesa was there, a lot convicting, yet again, going through the word and scriptures. Um I'm a person who's very quiet some days, or let me say a lot of the times, because I sit alone and they like thinking, you know what, I've been just working on myself and just thinking that, you know what, I don't know what they will think, but I'll get it done. So I just got the mission done, that I was just continuing to go to church. And the consistency of going to church was like a norm because it was just before like young people radio, just consistently going to church. Young people radio sparked up around high school. That was before my matric, and bruh, I didn't like like radio on a mobile. I was working on an Android, and yeah, it was pretty much a Vodacom smart kicker, and I was using like some things that I had. Um, Literally, it was just something way a lot. Um, Later down the years, I think high school sparked the culture of not like high school, but the thing is, amongst teens, you want to explore anything else. So 2018, I just hop onto Canva.com and I'm like, you know what, let me just see what I can work with. So Canva is a place where you can create, you can do something more, and you can become this designer, this creative person. So I use it I started to use it in 2019. And 2019, I just used a template. Um, Shout out to the person that designed a good template for um a graphic. There's like bold letters, horizon, and then you've got your subheading, which is like a different font, and it stands so bold today. Um, I decided to like say, you know what, it's just time to do something different. It's not about like listening to the world and just waiting for the right time to get up and just say, you know what, I'm just going to wait on that specific person or hear from that specific person. This is just more than that. So I decided to create graphics from there. So Young People Radio was formed. That's my first graphic, and then just created, you know, um there was some paper pamphlets. We were just doing this raw edit, and then I used my craft of graphic design and created posters for church. And as I was creating these posters for church, it was more like I am building my identity through these things. God saved me through a lot of things. Man, those power touches were a lot. I mean, the spirit was like working in me. I was so much like that. My first prayer encounter was not basically in church. We were at a place. I think it was here in Google Twin in Rwanda. A certain home. Bruh. Encounter was really fun, but got into a spiritual aspect, whereas you're going to unlock your gift. I thought gift was the only thing until years now. And I'm like, literally, I'm telling you the truth because I'm like, look, it's not about you speaking in the language of heaven, but it's more than what you can think about. Um, Today, I stand as a witness before you that your gifts can expand more than the one that you think you might get, right? You've got the mountain of influence, which was for me, I think I unlocked that in 2018. And bruh, that was mind blowing. Um 2016 I got just interpretation of tongues, and I felt like "Mm, I will be a seer, I will become a person who would preach, but then you are afraid, then you are just judging yourself, inwardly speaking, and you're like, did I do enough? Did it turn out very well that I thought in a way? So it was just highly unpredictable. So from there onwards, I decided to like um take a detour and head to work on family stuff. But then literally after high school, like I had to deal with depression again. And I was like, you know what, I'm done with school. I'm not gonna do a certain language anymore. I was job searching amongst a lot of graduates. I don't know what got me sparking creativity. Um, During high school, I think it was grade 12, I was staying with my roommates, and you know what, the stuff, and you know this thing where kettles were stolen for cash, and I don't know what's the crazy theory. We were just boiling and making our own noodles. We were in the dormitory that was school stuff. And literally school days were just quite wild because yes, you were going through as a kid and doing performing academically well for others just to show that you're gonna get some certain things. Whereas you pray so hard thinking that you're gonna get a certificate, that you're gonna get this acknowledgement, but they only just want to honor your hard work because of certain standards. How long or how much or how many certificates can you bag up to be known as this best performer, showing up in front of a crowd? Whereas God says, you're not a performer. You're not there to You're not there to impress others. You're there for yourself. And I just thought that this was just about me only. But he says the reason why that others perform well because they know their work. You, on the other hand, you have been made different. You can do other things in a way that you would imagine or do something creative. You most of the time you zone out. The exposure to sexual material has been happening all over social media. And as you were just browsing around, then you got into it. Um, 2013 and 14 was radio, right? And radio for me was a place to just grasp and create um captivating shows. I wasn't in charge, but I had to learn in a different way that you know what, whatever you start now, maybe it's gonna impact you for the future. So I decided that look, um, let's just do it. And as a kid I was like learning and growing, and this was going towards adulthood and young adolescence, teenhood like that, and was just really fun, a place to grow. And this was a place for me to just expand like that. After those 2 years, finished, I think it was between 2013 and 14, I was also doing the Kayla campaign, being an ambassador. I was doing this, I was the ambassador for the Kayla campaign. We're just tapping into disability and giving back to the community was a good thing for me. So I was creating this thing whereas it was just um representing and learning about disability, tapping into different themes and literally saying that it would be real. And after getting graduated like that, I think my old stuff were at the old house. Probably I can't find it again because mom is staying at a new place. Places now being owned by other people. 4 years later or like that. And then let's say about my let's also it's gonna be a category, right? Like depending on the format, but it's gonna be like that. Um in July 2001, after March, I was experiencing some problems with my eyes and I was banging my head, trying to find a way from escaping this monster of a disease known as glaucoma. And luckily they took me to hospital while I was a kid and literally they performed surgery. And 7 years later, that is after birth, right? In high school, and not high school, in primary school, and I was exposed to a condition known as glaucoma. Doctor didn't reveal it early because I was still too young to know, but only revealed it in 2007, where it was my dad, my grandma, and it's just them. And I'm like this kid, like, yo, um, what do I do now? Should I leave school or should I continue there? Grand says, nope, your mother took you there for a reason, continue there. And I continued at that school and I continued school for real, like literally. Okay. And then after getting exposure, I was researching all tons of stuff, tons of things, and then just learning through. Um, upskilled myself through computer stuff, and then yeah, 2014 after radio. That's October towards festive season. I got molested and got into a court trial just to point out the person did it who did it wrong, and then he just did an internal conflict. No, it was this person, my brother, not me. And I'm like thinking, no, it's you, and Jen. I felt like I was being recorded as a kid, and like this was in state court after reporting this is true, and um in a term molested, let me call it just rape, because not everybody goes through this, but it can happen anyway, right? So after the molestation and thinking that I was the one in trauma and thinking that I would be just like this guy because of his big D. I'm just gonna say big D because this guy was like literally wearing a coat and I don't know, just taking people to his own house, this tall guy and like that, and I don't know, just wrote some rave comment or some angry things online just to express my anger. But then I'm like, I just let it go. Um, started social media in 2014, and started on Facebook, and then just went over. Phones got lost, but I still survived, and I'm still barely breathing. Man, that's a lot of things. Um, I'm 24 now, and young me versus the now me, it's a lot. It's a lot of differences. There's a lot of things that happened. It's not about how people would see you, but how people would learn from you as a unique person. So I decided to say, hey, let's just do something more. So besides of just getting recognized, it's just about you being the true self of you. So in all of this, I want you to learn that God can ordain you, and it's not about where you are now. Think about how far you came with him. Think about what he has done to you. Think about the lessons that you might learn. Think about the things that you have crossed along the years. It's not about like what people would say or what people would do or like that. It's just more than that. So I invite you in this journey of the podcast. I'm literally in my work era, so work is just, let me say, 10 hours away because from 8 until 6 p.m., so 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Um, the lessons what God taught me to a lot was a lot, man. Prayer, consistently praying into a circle, becoming my own preacher, man. My first sermon series, The Return, inspired by Joel, the book of Joel, man. And I had to do something more than just creating something that is intentional, created like the circle and like that. And yeah, there were times that I was upset by going to church. There were a lot of times that I'm not going to church. Um, I think most of the times it's just financially driven because you're gonna go there because of money. Somehow you just think that you're with the grace of God, but then a person's pushing you to go to church. You'll be like, should I go there or should I not? So it has been challenging, but beside of that, I'm like, nah, let me just do whatever that can work out. So yeah, I I I decided that I'm gonna be doing it. So after these years that has just passed around and literally living around a diverse, like my church is my other family for real. Church is like the other family for me because I decided to like literally learn other things. And I was learning in the faith and learning from different people and sitting down and literally like getting visions and like thinking that I was gonna be the visionary, and I was like thinking about myself and I was standing and like it was a sobbing moment for my sister because I loved her so much. But man, I was thinking so much. I'm like thinking, bro, You love a person so hard, like it's your family member, but why can't you love yourself? You've been stuck into sin, and it's just that one repetitive sin, which is pornographic stuff. Whereas you don't know what what you're entering yourself into until you realize that no, you've got into a covenant with consuming stuff, which really causes out this, I don't know, unimaginable person which just wants to destroy you. And this is a person formed out of the images of what you have consumed. Oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. You are freeing me right now. So, um, you are watching these things, right? As a man, like literally, if you're going to be literally just being stuck on, or you've been stuck on watching images or these ladies showing out their appearance like that, it's just most often that you might question yourself like, yeah, I like those content, but have you really formed a relationship with other people? Have you really formed a relationship? Or have you just been stuck in the basement, stuck to one sin? And now I realize now as I'm 24, like, look, it's times like these that you are just freeing yourself from these strongholds that you have created yourself into. Literally, the stronghold of sin doesn't only just happen because of man willingly just doing it to sin or just becoming like Adam and Eve, like literally listening to some lie and it can happen. It can happen like that. But a sin, it's like, let me say, it's like something that you do, right? Willingly, you discover it in some early age like that. So, yeah, I think for me, it started around school, browsing through the net. Twitter was still wild that time. Now it's known as X. And the thing is, you watch this thing and it's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. Now what you're doing, then you're sinning to yourself. Like you're literally masturbating, you're using your hand, like your right hand causes you to sin. Your eye is the lamp watching wrong stuff. So it's just been a whole big thing. And this is not figuratively, but literally I have to let this out though. It's no longer a secret anymore, but it's a sin that you constantly do as a habit. And this sin is just continuing to like lock you in because you are in this place, continuing to sin continuously, like thinking that it's the one thing. Whereas there are other factors that you don't have a life person like that. And next thing you know, you pray for it and you think it's going to be better, but no. But at the end of the day, you have to deal with it. So, besides of the Holy Spirit delivering me, I decided to abstain from it. And even though I wanted to do it this morning, but you know, I just decided like, no, it's not meant to be done. So I'm happy that it's done, it's done for, even though it's about that urge like that. I've been watching videos, I've been tormented a lot. And yeah, I decided to like say, look, let's just break the stigma and just say, hi, I'm imperfect. If you want to know me, I'm a person that is talkative. I like to keep a good chat. I like to keep a good vibe. I'm a person that speaks about anything in social media and something updates like that. I consume YouTube because of the content that I like. Sometimes I watch Netflix of the movies. Um, the guy has been stuck around the sexual identity because he's just a human. But the thing is, he uses the loneliness part because he was quiet for a long time. He's quiet for a long time because he doesn't have a partner. He often looks into social media and thinks about these models and just have a chat with models. Maybe OnlyFans, he does that, but he hasn't done any sexual encounter. In his youth, he attempted to, because he just became a new man, he wanted to delve into sexual stuff, but then realizing that God is like saying, no, my son, don't do that. I don't want you to do that. God was literally protecting me from doing those stuff. And yeah, I am. I'm barely breathing. I'm okay. I'm alive. And literally, it's by His grace and His power. This is not like mistaken or like a playbook, but I'm literally telling you, God protected me from doing any sexual encounter, like anything sexual. He protected me from doing that. So I want you to take heart around this first episode. It has been like a wild turn. You might be looking at this pins here and there from birth to like that. Um, the cycle of sin is just not about like realizing or hearing from other people, but it's just sexual deeds. Maybe you're feeling lonely. You might be just using sex as a coping mechanism or just wanting to do things just to masturbate because you've been feeling lonely. You've dealt through traumatic things and you've gone through online relationships, and it's like these relationships might think that they would last forever, but not. I was thinking that I was getting to a relationship until I met a gay person online and thinking that it was literally going to be, intimate and was just a chat. But man, after my cousin told me, like, this girl is gay, I'm like thinking, oh, right, I should have checked again. So it was getting there to be intense until you found an angel and you were thinking that you were going to get her. But God said, no, don't go for it. Just trust the process, trust the intuition. You don't have to be like them. You will find your partner eventually one day, but you have to just stay bold, you have to stay true to yourself. You have to become this unique individual that is doing things which from a different other side of things where you can do like that. Um I'm learning in a good way because I represent myself as a brand. And I love me for me because I was created for a purpose. I am a person because I am made in the image of God. I do not want to be seen as a person because of what the world says or what the world says who I am. I am God's creation. I consume social media. That's my problem because it's just the only way that I can escape these life things. You want to talk about God out there, but people don't want to listen to you. How are you convicting yourself to do this? Are you willing or are you able to distinct or are you able to, how to say, become this different breed? 2023 was my first work year. And I went to Rorisang. I went to the first event. I think it was Jesus This. Yeah. Rory was doing a tour around South Africa with Jesus This, Jesus That. And man, the conviction was so real, man. She was like, if you were a church boy and you want to do it for the approval, step back. And we were all in the circles. I joined a bunch of university students. I saw Lisa at UCT, a friend of mine at church. And man, that event was so much impactful. The work of God was there. Like, Holy Spirit was there. God was working in me. And I was so purged. Like, I was praying. I couldn't join the afternoon because I was working. But the thing is, man, it was like I was being I can say, how can I say? It was just that thing that look in you. Are you doing it for like that? So are you doing it for the world or are you doing for like the sake of people? So I was doing it for the sake of me just exploring. So yeah, it was good. 2024. Well, let me call it like last year. And then last year was just a year of how to say, I think 2023 was a temporary relationship for money that didn't work out. I can say it, so it wasn't like love, I was just sharing out with money, so it wasn't that thing. Bro has been exposed to sex. Sex is all around. People just want to do sex. When I entered the place that I'm working at now, I literally saw just a, how to say, like a bodily description that, look, there's gonna be, there was just a couple, like, probably like literally like a man and a woman. That's just invisible, just like what I see. And they were committing sex, and this guy was banging this girl, and I just watched it for a minute and a half, like that, to 3 minutes. Um, not like too many positions, just like standing figuratively, and this guy is hitting it from the back, and then sometimes from the front, and then sometimes laying it down and like that. And I'm like thinking, I see you, but I think you with this figure, it's just something that you're just showing that like, look, you'll hear more of this. They will do sex at random times like that. And yeah, this workplace that I'm at, just I don't know, it was just anybody can do sex random times. And yeah, I'm guilty of that. Like I feel like I've been rocking the chair because I'm thinking that I'm just playing with myself and thinking that I've got the joy, but it's not. And I'm just also sitting on my butt, like sitting to myself. And literally, it's just, hey, it's a cold breeze, right? It was just realizing that, look, you've been sitting to yourself, bro. So it's time that you just do something different. So I was just literally unwrapping myself, and I'm like, okay, dude, are you gonna continue doing this or like that? So 24 came, um, and I think it was just weeks later that I decided, like, let's just pause from this. You are guilty too much. Your guilt just pushes you way over the limit, and you'll be like thinking to hire prostitutes, but God's protecting you from that. So, what I want you to learn about this episode is first, God is with you everywhere you go. Two, in anything that you do, He is there also. Three, your journey is not always the same. You might be not like those high achievement academics. Four, they might use tools against you or just using you as a tool. Five, however it is, your journey will, maybe continue. Don't think about like your certain age like that, but I just want you to like take this time to like learn and grasp um something that is more often a different way or a different thing. So this is episode 1 of the Digital Disciple podcast, a podcast where you as a disciple not only just do things for the church, but you are the church. You are this person. And by the power of God, like I just pray that you become inspired. Shout out to my family. I can call them by just name. Mrs. Nona Boy, Pastor Guanele Boy, Pastor Kate, Asanda Lamini, I love you. And so many more of you, like so many inspiring teachers, my family, Pastor Togo, um, Pastor Prophetess Hashe, Sihle, your mom, shout out to you. Um, all of you, man. It's a family. It's a thing. Shout out to my grandmother. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to God. Shout out to every one of you, man. This is gonna be a ministry like no other. First episode, we are convicting our sins. Like I'm gonna call this intro of podcast and convicting the body of its bodily sins. I don't want to take it into perspective and write a whole big paragraph about it, but this is episode one. Episode one is intro about the podcast, then revealing my true story to you. Let's say episode one, revealing my true story to you. Or kanya my true story about me. So yeah, I hope and pray that this episode inspires you. I also have to listen back to this because I just took out my lav mic, which couldn't respond over some certain apps, but yeah, I'm just using this app. Recording it raw and wild, but yeah, love you to bits. Yeah, we'll share this episode on Substack. We'll be writing about it anytime soon. Have to boil water soon, but I hope this episode inspires you. To connect with me, head on to my YouTube. I'm just using the platforms. I'm just not gonna mention other things, but this one will be impactful. I would love to see you. I would love to hear from you, your comments. It's been a while. And also I'm also thinking about young people radio, but like, you know what? I just had to do this episode because of a pending vision. I'm like thinking, you know what, do something that you're scared of and maybe it's gonna work out. Maybe it's gonna work out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Um I'd love to see you on the next episode. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is day two, maybe episode two. This is day two of 10 hours. And yeah, definitely it's going to be a good one. So tomorrow's episode is literally gonna be about I'm gonna take you through the passage of the story of John the Baptist. And I want to specifically tune you in into, or how does it give you a hint of becoming separate. So tomorrow's episode will be talking about being separate from the world, right? So we're gonna be different, but become unique individuals representing God in truth, and what it means for you to separate from the world and becoming this identity. And are you doing it for them or are you doing it for God? But tomorrow's episode is all about being different, right? Being different. Separate yourself from the world. Are you doing it for the world and continue worldly measures for the sake of being known for the world and trusted by worldly friends? Or are you going to be somebody who's standing up for God? So I want you to be encouraged. This was a lot of guts. I understand that I had to free myself from just going back to that formula of waking up, sin, and then get up to work. So it's it's not none like other, but this one has been really good. Thank you for tuning in, and this has been the first episode of the Digital Disciple podcast, empowering faith through media and purpose. And yeah, of course, feel free to follow us on social media. It's on my YouTube channel. I will share this on my Instagram, and of course, this will be a video for YouTube. So it might be audio only. I'm sorry, but I have to work on the thumbnail for episode one. And definitely, I can't wait to see your comments right there. Thank you for tuning in. This took a lot of guts, and thank you for your patience. It's been a while. After an awesome smacking banner, that one was like saying it's gonna be on Billboard soon, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just have some time to think through it. It's been a long time, and you know what? Let's make use of this. Yeah, it's in March. Sorry for not like making it in Jan. Uh, there was recorded when the thing it was the trailer was just December last year. Then I'm like, then I'm just keeping it for a secret, and then I'm like, you know what? I just placed it, did the work, YouTube, Spotify. No, I said Spotify, then YouTube, and then I added to Apple Podcasts. So I've been promoting it for a long time, but you know what? Let's just get it out there. So be freed if you're a man. Do not be distracted by the lie, but you will be free. I decided to stop it. I know it's a constant habit that we might be thinking that we're gonna do because we are feeling lonely, but singleness is not about just being lonely and getting yourself into these sexual stuff and getting yourself into this worldly matter because you want to be touched like that. No, it's about being true, finding your true identity, and of course, not conforming to worldly standards. Maybe someday you can go to parties, but you know what? You have to separate from the world. I guess this year, for the year end party, we're gonna keep it slow. Keep it a bit dry. Do not drink and become like the world, but rather become a perfect example that you are not going to be controlled by spirits which just want you to be humiliated because of its strong essence. You are a vessel for God. You are a vessel for God. So definitely it's going to be possible, and it is possible through God. Thank you for listening. I hope you become inspired. Peace.